Howdy. Today we're going to be looking at Rhino as a crowd control. I know, sounds interesting and a bit heretical, but it's quite effective, I assure you. So hang on, I actually want to remove my pets here. Now, I might as well show the fashion again. I always do this so that people know in case they want to know. Rhino has a lot of potential. I'm not going to go over all of his abilities. The gist of it is his passive is bad, his 1 is bad, his 2 is great, his 3 is broken, and his 4 exists. It can either be great or bad depending on how you build it. But it does have very good range. Very good range. And so does Roar. And Roar has an augment. Now, in case you didn't know, you cannot recast Roar normally. You have to wait till it ends to recast it. But with the augment piercing Roar, it makes it so you are able to recast. Even though it doesn't state here, it makes it so you can recast it without having to wait for it to end. It also gains plus 40% range, and enemies within 25 meters are knocked down and suffer 5 stacks of the puncture status effect. Now, if you didn't know, puncture stacks up to 5 times, and each stack increases the crit chance the enemy receives by 5% as a flat amount. So at max stacks of 5, they take 25% flat bonus crit chance, which can be very strong. It also reduces the damage they do, and it reduces their accuracy. So it's helpful for surviving. And this applies that, right, at the max amount, and it knocks them down, so it's a crowd control. It also, if you hover over the ability, it shows there's a debuff duration. It has a multiplier to the duration of the puncture stacks. That is affected by duration. So if we say put on primed continuity, then all of the puncture stacks are going to last 55% longer than they normally do, right? The duration will be multiplied by 1.55. So that's quite nice. Now, the bonus range, 40%, unfortunately only affects the normal version of Roar, how far it goes to give the buff to yourself and teammates. It does not affect the radius of the Roar knockdown and the status application. But it's still going to be pretty insane. 25 meters at base is quite massive. So this is the build we're working with. I actually need to switch Avenger I was showing in the Bubonico video. I got to switch it back to Augmented. Oh wait, actually never mind, this is the wrong build. Here we go, this is the build. I know it looks funky, looks real funky. We have gone all in on range. Cunning Drift, Stretch, Overextended, and Augur Reach to max our range out as high as we can get, 280%. Now, it's not going to affect our... Dang it, why can't... There we go, my sensitivity is way too high right now. Is Iron Skin. Iron Skin is unaffected. We don't need it. Now, I know you really want strength and armor typically for Iron Skin, or at least on the low end, but Iron Skin increases the damage it can take, right, the health of the Overguard, based off how much damage you take during the 3 seconds of invulnerability. So all the way up to level cap, it scales infinitely, so you don't actually need to build for it. You can just ignore the stats on Iron Skin entirely. Roar, on the other hand, we do really want good strength, so it's still good as a damage buff rather than just a crowd control. Our 4 also works as a good crowd control, though the difference between its and Roar is Roar's also casting to give us a damage buff, so for how much we get out of the ability, it's more efficient, and it also costs less energy than Rhino Stomp does. And it applies the puncture procs, whereas Rhino Stomp doesn't. Another nice thing about applying puncture is it doesn't just make the enemies do less damage, have less accuracy, and take more crits, is because it's a status effect. It's actually going to make us do more damage with our gun CO or normal condition overload on your melee weapons, so that's also a nice bonus. Because we don't want to ruin our strength for Roar, we have growing power and Molt Augmented, and because we don't have like any source of energy gain, and you know it's going to get quite expensive to cast this stuff, we have Arcane Steadfast. Energize would also be a decent option here. Then we have Subsumed on Chirinka Pillar. You can go with really whatever you want. I just really like Chirinka Pillar because the slow is unaffected by strength, so having low strength doesn't ruin it. It's only 35%, but it's nice. And since we're already high range, having 2 of these pillars with 22.4 meter range is really, really nice. And it does some level of damage while applying radiation procs. Radiation procs for even more from your gun CO or normal condition overload, as well as giving even more crowd control. This is a maximum crowd control build. We have tons of CC from our Chirinka Pillar, our Roar, and our Rhino Stomp. We have survivability, like tankiness from Iron Skin, and we have a really broken damage buff from Roar. We've got everything that we can need in a build, okay? So this is a very good build, and I would even say this would be a great build to take to level cap. So we're going to show the range off. You can see it's got 70 meters on Piercing Roar, as well as Rhino Stomp. 70 fucking meters. That's a lot of range, and I'm going to show you how much range that is. So let's spawn in these enemies all the way back here. We're going to mark the wall, okay? Then we're going to go back to where we change our stuff. Let me grab energy. All the way right here, 70 meters. Do you see how much range this is? This is insane. If I cast my Roar, they all got knocked down. And now they all have puncture affecting them. Plus, like I said before, well, I mean, it's Roar, so we also get the damage buff. And the same applies for our Rhino Stomp. We can cast this, and now they are all suspended in the air. I'm fairly certain, even though it doesn't show above their heads, I believe the lift status, which is what is affecting them right now, also counts towards condition overload. I could be wrong about that, so let me know in the comments if you know for sure. Then if you want to see the range on the Chirinka Pillars, we'll cast this. Look at that range. Holy shit. And you can have 2 of these out. So, like, I could say, slap one down here. Slap one down right here. That is a humongous area of coverage of an ability that lasts nearly a minute right now with what our duration is at. Almost a whole minute. Just pulsating slow effects and radiation onto everything. So we can like slap this down, cast this, and cast this. And now they're just like very slowly floating through the air. And slow affects how long it takes for them to get up from being knocked down from our Roar. So Chirinka Pillar Slow actually pairs quite nicely with the knockdown from Piercing Roar. As you can see, it takes them forever. And then once they would even get up, then they're just going to be affected by radiation. This is a maximum crowd control build on Rhino. A lot of people say crowd control is bad, and overguard can be a problem. This build would be horrible in something like Deep Archimedia, where there's nothing but Eximus. But most of the time, there isn't too many Eximus in the game. I still think crowd control is a very strong ability. Or, not ability, but like, you know, type of ability to keep yourself alive. And I would dare say I like crowd control more in level cap content, especially Void Cascade specifically, than more damage. Like if I had a choice between taking Roar or Chirinka Pillar with me on a level cap Void Cascade, I would much rather have Chirinka Pillar because I don't need extra damage. My guns are already going to do a ton of damage, so why do I need more damage when I can have really good crowd control? That's going to take all the small fries off my back, which is really important in endurance content since they do an ungodly amount of damage. It makes staying alive so much easier. So that is the Rhino crowd control build. Definitely give it a shot, I'd say. It's very fun, and it's a different way of playing Rhino rather than just, you know, only the Overguard and Roar. It does suck that Rhino Stomp doesn't work on Eximus anymore after the Dante update, but it is what it is. He's still very strong and has a lot of crowd control potential. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. If you liked it, then leave a like and subscribe. That would be epic. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. Also, I wasn't gonna do it, but I got bored, so I said fuck it. I made a Discord, so I think the link to that, I'm pretty sure I already put it in the description of my channel or something. If you click on my YouTube channel and look at the links right under my name, my profile picture, it's probably there somewhere. So that's the thing. Adios.